Welcome to the YouTube Redux of episode 1 of Out in the Woods. We out here. When I started this episode, I was probably 50 pounds heavier than I am now. I was stuck in that closet right over there. And I was laying on the floor with my head craned against the back of a tack board. So, yeah, and I wasn't recording with any professional audio equipment. I wasn't recording onto Audacity. I was recording with the Anchor app on my phone. So each take, if I didn't like it, I deleted it and started all the way over again. So it took me from about 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. to record the very first episode of Out in the Woods. So it's probably going to take me just as long to make a video for it. No, I'm just kidding. I really hope it doesn't take that long. But yeah, here we are. I'm really, really excited. This is something I've been meaning to do for a long time. It just gets busy being your friendly gayborhood host. Y'all demand content and I must provide. So here we go. Get ready for a blast from the not so distant past with Out in the Woods, episode 1, Redux. Well, what have we here? Welcome to the very first episode of Out in the Woods. I'm Jacob, I'm your host, I'm out, I'm proud, and I live in the middle of the damn woods. So let's get right to it. Wow, it's finally all happening. Welcome to Out in the Woods. Hello again, I'm Jacob. I do live out in the woods, but I'm currently recording inside my bedroom closet because that is all I have in the ways of a recording space. I'm not too embarrassed about it because I feel like not many people have much better. God, I hope. Let's see. I'm a Capricorn Sun, Scorpio Moon, Aries Rising. I'm a bottom. And yeah, I think that's the most important things, right? I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, this is something that I've been wanting to do for a really long time. I just never knew where to start, I guess. I didn't really know what I would do for a podcast, but then I guess it really is just all in what you know. I guess that's just like everything else. So, this episode I just really wanted to dedicate to talking about me and why I'm starting this podcast. And I'm really, after thinking about it, I'm doing it for a lot of different reasons, but let's hold off on that and talk about me for a second. So I was born and raised in the middle of central Mississippi. So if any of you out there are not from Mississippi, there's basically, for central Mississippi, there's Jackson, which is a couple of skyscrapers and highways, and that's about it. Outside, down south, it's pine trees. And yeah, I live in the middle of all those pine trees. So I have two loving parents. They are still loving after I came out. I'm not going to pretend like they are waving pride flags or anything like that, but honestly, that is progress for some of the motherfuckers around here, let me tell you. I was raised Southern Baptist. My religious leanings now are spiritual. I know everyone says that, but I mean, I really mean that. And honestly, in a future episode, I'm going to talk to somebody who's very spiritual, but that's for later. I really didn't admit to myself that I was gay until I went to college. Before then, I had had sexual attraction to men starting like right before I hit puberty. So like probably around like age 11 or 12, you know. I don't know. I guess everyone develops in their own time. I don't know. I don't claim to know when the right time to start having feelings of sexual attraction is. But, like, for me, it was like 11. And I don't know. I always forgot to delete my internet search history. So, that created a lot of interesting tension in my household because I was a dummy and always kept getting caught watching gay porn. Um, and, you know, I guess, I don't know if anyone else out there really experienced this, but like, you make up every stupid excuse you can for why you are watching gay porn, other than the fact that you enjoy the gay porn. So, like, you know, I would tell them, oh, I was just looking up pictures for a project. uh, I'm confused. That's not what I meant to look at. You know, stuff like that. And, but deep down inside, I loved it. And I guess growing up, though, in a religious setting, that was a very difficult thing because you feel a huge level of conflict, internal conflict. It's, how do I say it? It's kind of because whenever you grow up in a place where being gay is 100% a sin and you will 100% go to hell for it, and it's a lifestyle choice that you make. That's the key word there, choice. Whenever you're tricked into believing by people that you consider to be authority figures, when they convince you that your sexuality is a choice, you you kind of try to figure out how to make the choice to be straight, even though subconsciously you know that really you'll never be straight, you'll never be hetero. You try everything. I remember when I was a kid, I prayed and I prayed and I prayed and I begged and I pleaded and all that. There's going to be a future story time, but I'm just going to say briefly here. I once tried to exorcise the gay out of me. Somebody once convinced me that it was a demon inside me, and I tried to exorcise it. We will get into that later on in a future episode. But, yeah. So that's the kind of mind-boggling, emotional craziness that comes with being a gay adolescent in a very, very, uh, fundamentalist part of the world. And yeah, so that's about that for religion. Personally, I am. Oh, here we go. This is another thing that's going to be a future episode thing, but just to kind of lay down the groundwork, I am obese. I'm actually pursuing bariatric surgery. Actually, at the time of this recording, I have like 5 days until I have the vertical sleeve gastrectomy. That's where they cut 80% of your stomach out, leave just like a tube, basically. And yeah, and it's not. Okay, let me rephrase that. It's 20% because of self-esteem as far as just feeling attractive. But 80% of it really is because of my health. And once again, if you are not from Mississippi, you know the stereotypes, you know the statistics. We are obese down here. We really are. I'm part of that statistic. And it's mostly, I mean, I'm not going to say mostly. We have really great food down here. Everything is made with extra love, and love equals fat. Um, and also, I mean, I definitely have an eating, a problem with my relationship with food, but that's neither here nor there. Pertinent to the podcast, there is a stigma around being larger in the LGBT community. Um, the old saying, no fats, no femmes, no Asians. Well, I fit two of those criteria. So it's not that I've had a hard time. It's just it's been a little something being my size, but I don't let nothing stop me. It's just like being out and proud. You have to be confident in who you are, or at least that's how I feel. Otherwise, I would just be crying in my bed all day. And honey, I ain't got time to cry in my bed all day. 20 minutes maybe. No. And speaking of femininity, you can tell by the tone, the sound, the waves of my voice that nobody has ever questioned my masculinity. That's actually okay. That is one interesting thing because I think I make it perfectly clear, especially with the voice that God gave me. Um, I am not here to play around with no vagina. um, no, but I have actually had people that were like, "What? What? No, I really like." Okay, that's a very small minority of people. There was this one time when I lived, when I was going to college, there was this girl that worked in the drive-through at the local McDonald's, and I went to McDonald's way more than I should have. Um, but she always flirted with me. And I'm not talking about something that can easily be misconstrued. She winked at me. She called me and me alone darling. Um, and I would drive up and she'd be like, "Well, hi there, handsome. Oh, it's so good to see you today." And I'm just like, "Wow, you're oozing sexual advances." Um, I never let her down or anything like that, just because it just feels weird being like, you're barking up the wrong tree. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but yeah, I'm definitely the one that at the drive-through line or whenever I would answer the phone, especially when I was younger. I mean, even today though, that's the thing. Even today, I'll answer the phone and people will be like, "Hello, can I speak to Jacob?" And I'm like, "This is him." And they're like, "Okay." Like there was one time I had a whole conversation with a woman who was talking about me in the third person. And then at the end, she was like, "So are you like his mom or something?" And I said, "Actually, I'm him." Just because I wanted to see what her reaction would be, and it was every bit as wonderful as I thought it would be. She was mortified, but like, honestly, it was worth it. I ain't bothered by it. I am who I am. Although, I will say, it doesn't bother me. It's just something I've noticed, especially now. If you haven't noticed, there's a global pandemic, so everyone's wearing masks, including restaurant workers like myself. Um, when I'm around customers wearing the mask and I'm talking to them, I hear way more "yes, ma'am" than I did before. Now, I will say, even before the mask, though, sometimes I would be making direct eye contact with somebody and I'd be like, "So, you want some sweet tea? What can I get for you to drink?" And they're like, "Yes, ma'am." Oh, and it's just like, "No, it's fine." I always just say, I'm like, "It's 2020. I can be whoever I want to be, honey. Because I can, bitch." Let's take a quick break, but we'll be back soon. Oh wow, that was so enchanting. Welcome back. Earlier I had mentioned that I'm a restaurant worker, but before I explain my restaurant work, let me tell you, I have a theater degree. I love theater. I love acting. I love movies. I love music. I love I love the arts in general, but I my specific focus was theater. Just because really since I was 5 years old, surprise, my little gay ass has been into acting. Um, and I like all the other aspects of creativity too. I dabble in it all. But theater was my main focus. And living in Mississippi, there is no theater here. Rather, there's not a lot of theater here, and there's only one really paying theater here. And that is, you talk about a big fish in a small pond, but like, it's kind of like being, it's kind of like a small pond within a small pond, I guess, where there are a lot of big fish. And I don't know if this analogy is going anywhere for anybody. I'm sorry. But that's just what it is. So basically, I'm living with my parents right now. Ugh, I'm 25, living with my parents. But, like, I could be homeless. So, like, let's just put that out there. It could be worse. I could be homeless. And once again, my parents are very loving and very supportive of me. So yeah, that's where I'm at, and that's why I'm working at a restaurant right now to save money. Firstly, for my bariatric surgery, but I've got that paid now. So now, like once I get it and once I come back to work, all of that money I can funnel into moving somewhere where I can actually use my theater degree. And I'm not gonna tell you where yet, but oh, it is quite a nice place. So far, the plans could change because I'm moving with my best friend, or at least once again, that's the plan right now. I'm moving with my best friend, who also does theater, um, and it'd be expensive out here, and not all cities are the same for actors. So, just trying not to end up in another situation like I am now. I want this to be the last time I live with my parents. Knock on wood. Um, so yeah, that's just, and my friend is straight and in theater, but I guess there is another like stereotype of gays being into theater, but I mean, can you blame us? Especially down here in the South, like theater is such a big form of escape. You can be anyone you want whenever you get that role. I mean, seriously, you get to live in somebody else's shoes for a while and forget, the boy who just broke your heart or the really rude thing that family member said to you about, who you love and stuff like that. So, um, yeah, that's a big thing. We just love art out here. Yes, there are cultured people out here in the woods. Um, and honestly, like, growing up, you think you're kind of isolated with your feelings and your attraction when in reality, you know, all you got to do is check Grinder to see that really and truly there are more gays out there than you expected, and more lesbians and more trans people and more bisexuals and everything. I mean, I guess that's another part of growing up in um in a Baptist household and in a Baptist church is you get the feeling from them that this is something that is isolated and something that few people choose and few people that are raised correctly choose. Once again, false false idea of having a choice. Um, but at the end of the day, we're born every second. Um, so yeah, that that is definitely something. And there's a variety. I mean, you see a lot of older people out here. Now, I will say this once again because of the stigma of being gay. There are a lot of older gay gentlemen who prefer not to ever speak of it unless you're on your knees or they're on their knees, vice versa, whichever they want to do. But for them, it's it's very on the down low. And not that there's anything wrong with expressing yourself that way. If that's how you want to be, that's fine. It just, I guess, for our generation, it almost feels like there's an untapped level of internalized homophobia that I personally just feel really sad for them about because they were never raised in an accepting environment, far less accepting than I was raised in. I mean, I never had to worry about, and I know that this is not the same for a lot of, I've heard horror stories from some of my fellow gay boys about their experiences in high school. And I was never out in high school, but I never faced any kind of specific discrimination. Did I experience people making fun of me for being fat? Yes. Did I experience people making fun of me for being feminine? Absolutely. That was just part of it, and lots of people accusing me of being gay, which at the time I didn't accept, so that was kind of an insult for me. And that's why I empathize with these men, because I feel like they're kind of in that phase where being acknowledged as gay is kind of insulting for them. I don't know. I know that kind of got a little heavy and deep, but like, we're gonna go there sometimes. Y'all just gotta take the ride with me. And yeah, that pretty much covers me. I'm also a cub, but once I get this weight loss surgery, I'll be an otter. I'll have to file the paperwork at the Gay Bureau of Mississippi. No, but speaking of the ride, now that I've really covered kind of my background, kind of who I am, um, which there'll still be more stuff as we go on. Basically, I was lying awake late a couple of nights ago. And I have just been hungry, no pun intended, to do some podcasting, to really try my hand at it, to really get acquainted with the ropes for a while. And so I just decided I want to do my own, but I really didn't know where to start. And like I said at the beginning, it really just kind of came down to like, well, what do I know? And what I know is it's just fucking weird being gay in the middle of the woods, in the middle of the rural South. The rural South. The real rural South. If you're still listening, thank you. I listen to podcasts a lot. I have a nice little commute to work. So podcasts really have become a really great thing for me. I like to listen to a lot of Conan O'Brien. I'm listening to this series right now, or I was listening to this series right now. The series ended, but it was all about David Duke and how horrible and shitty he was. There's another local gay podcast I follow. Hopefully I can get at least one of the hosts in. It's called Homos on Haunted Hill. Go check them out. It's just a podcast where they talk about horror movies from the perspective of two gay dudes. It's really great. And yeah, and I was just like, you know what? This is a great thing. This is a fantastic medium. And I also realize, like, I can take from everything that I listen to and kind of inject it into what I am doing right now. So, I can just kind of muse along and ramble and talk about just, I guess, current events. I can have guests so we can talk about a specific topic, which is what I'm so excited for. I love a nice interview. I love a nice kind of getting to hone in on somebody else's experience. Cannot wait. Definitely already asking people about doing interviews down the line. What I'm trying to do here, y'all, is I'm trying to just get these voices heard. Because whenever you live here, you definitely feel like your voice is not heard. A lot of the time, if you, once again, let's go back to growing up here. A lot of the time, if you see someone speaking out who is a gay person, any kind of minority, anytime you hear them speaking out, a lot of the time you will hear adults and people in power saying that they're being too loud, they're being rude, they're whining and complaining about nothing. They just want something for nothing. They just want attention. And so that internalizes itself in you, and that's something you have to work out, and that's something that I'm trying to help people with, because we're not out here whining, we're not out here complaining, we're out here existing. And so, yeah, I just want to put a lens on the Southern gay experience. That's what I'm trying to do. Well, the Southern LGBT experience, because I want to bring in everyone, even allies. I've got a couple of allies that will definitely make some great guest hosts. So yeah, this is my first foray into podcasting. So I really would like for everyone to bear with me. But I am excited for our future, and I'm hoping that this may not only entertain people. I want this to be a podcast for everybody, not just people in the community. I want this to be a podcast for everybody, and I want it to entertain, but I also really want it to educate. And, maybe someone will be impacted by it. I don't know. But if they are, that's really great. We're out here trying to lift each other up. I mean, have you seen 2020? My God. It's definitely a time when a lot of people need love, and love is lacking. And that's the real tea. So, yeah. Look, guys, thank you so much. I was so excited and just energetic about finally getting to start and recording on a podcast. I have already ordered some audio equipment that will make things a lot more professional sounding. So first of all, thank you for putting up with my scratchy ass beard. So let me be the first one to tell you, if you have something you want to do, just find a way to do it as best you can. Literally, I know this is just the first episode, but I've got a lot of exciting ideas, and I mean, honestly, I never really thought that I would just up and make a podcast. So here I am. So you can find yourself in this exact same position doing things you didn't know you could do just by doing them. So, yeah. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please do not hesitate to comment. Let me know how I'm doing. If you want to tell me I'm doing great, great. If you want to tell me I'm doing bad, I'll cry, but I will get over it. And please let me know any advice you may have. Once again, I'm a newbie. I'll take any advice you can give me. Tell all your friends. I know they'll love it. I hope they'll love it. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can hear every episode every week or 2 weeks. We don't know yet. And yeah, so thank you so much for coming out in the woods to come into my bedroom closet. Mwah! Bye.